Hello, you're watching, my name's Harry Tambotko, and you're watching Talk to Harry. Now, in the first part, we were talking about can you trust the common? Like the answer to that question is a big, flat, capital N-O. No. But then again, that's your fault. That's what I say. Ang taong bayan ang may kamali dito kasi pinayagan natin yung COMELEC na gawin ituloy-uli ito tsaka yung Smartmatic. So, huwag tayo magre-reklamo kung naloloko tayo. Di ba? Ganun lang yan. Parang si Noynoy, binoto natin 6 years ago. Huwag kayo magre-reklamo, naglalakad kayo sa release ng trend. Di ba? Now, we're going to discuss the other burning issue, which is called federalism. We have Rene Azurin with us, and this topic was hotly contested, or better yet, was it was the hot topic about 8-9 years ago, and I remember you and I talked about it, and you did a lot of writing on federalism. How do you now feel that the president-elect is coming on strong with federalism? Where do you find that position? I remember your analogy. Pag ang bahay mo ninakawan, kasi madilim, di ba? Ganon, pinasukan ng bahay mo, ninakawan ka. Sa susunod na gabi ba, itatrangka mo, bubuksan mo lahat ng ilaw, o bubuksan mo yung pintuan, sasara mo mga ilaw, para sinabi, alika, nakawan niyo ulit bahay ko. Does that still stand?
No, that was my analogy on the shift to a parliamentary system.
Ah, okay. Sorry, that's right. Not federalism. Oh, sige, let's go federalist. Yes. Apologies. Yes, you're right. That was parliamentary.
Yeah.
Pero mukhang in that direction, federalism and parliamentarism, the president-elect favors both.
Well, my position is, in principle, I have no problem with federalism. No? In fact,
you don't agree with all they're saying na it's just another bureaucracy being put on top because of,
here are my qualifications. No? In fact, if you consider the fact that it disperses power, no? And my position has always been for the dispersal of power rather than the concentration of power, then federalism would be good for us. No? In other words, and we've tried everything else, maybe federalism is the way to go. No? I certainly am willing to give it a try.
You don't agree that DILG is already devolved? That was the very purpose of the local government code.
Well, federalism would devolve it further, no? But here is there are a lot of details. It depends on how you implement it, no? There are a lot of details involved. No? For example, how will the autonomous regions, no, share in the national revenues? Okay.
Hindi pwede equitable?
Well, you'll have to. These are the things that have to be defined, no?
You're for equitability. If you divide it federal, in your mind, ano dapat federal? What are the areas? Based on provinces, 81, or Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao?
Or it could be the regions, the 16 regions.
Per region naman, instead.
Well, these are the things. Kasi when you say federalism, what exactly do you mean? No?
A state.
No. What I'm saying is, for example, the question you raised, is it the provinces? Is it the regions?
Those are the questions that need to be addressed.
You have to define all of these things. No? Okay, who are the autonomous regions? How will they share in the revenues of the national revenues? No? How will they share in the debt? Okay, the Philippines has a lot of debt. Now, when you federalize and the revenues now are...
May malakas, may mahina.
How will you allocate the debt burden among the various regions? No? Now, if you mentioned equitable, okay, if equitable, right now, poor regions are net...
they get from the national government, the IRA.
What they earn
Correct.
is considerably less than what they are given.
Correct.
Okay? What happens kasi presumably you're now autonomous, no? You raise your own revenue. Okay? Now, if for example, a rich region like Metro Manila, for example, does not allocate funds to ARM, for example, how does that affect the development of that particular region? These are things that have to be ironed out. Police, what do you do about the police? Are they now going to be independent? Will there now be independent police forces forces for each region.
So
as it
even
is in the
before
state.
you discuss it, the idea is to narrow it down, or part of the discussion is to narrow it down to answer all these questions.
You have to detail what exactly will you...
Okay.
Because basically the principle is you will now create independent autonomous regions. Basically that will mean, presumably, they will generate their own revenue. They will pay for their expenses, you know, for
But
whatever
you say
programs.
the NCR, if you're not a producing area, NCR is nothing but a financial center. The gig itself in finance and capitalism is spread out when it comes to manufacturing contribution. It's going to be the rest. So NCR will become the poorest region. Walang production yan eh.
Yeah, but you have to, that means you have to modify the tax code. Because right now, the big corporations are paying tax in Metro Manila. Okay?
Right.
So you have to change that also.
You have to change that also.
There are many things that will have to be changed. And in fact, as far as tax reform is concerned, no, this is a separate issue, but I'm for eliminating income tax and just basically consumption tax, property tax. So that might remove the problem of how do you share in income tax. In other words, whatever you consume, whatever people consume in a particular region, that region gets
will
the
prosper,
tax,
will get the tax
for that. No? But again,
that's part of federalism if you talk about it strictly.
Yes. But the problem is, suppose people are not consuming in ARMM.
Correct. They don't have the volume, you don't have the density of people. Or
So, and you don't channel funds to ARM, then development is going to suffer. So these are things that have to be carefully thought out if you go that route. In principle, I have no problem with federalism.
Is federalism, you think, a priority that is facing us now for the next president to address in the next 6 years? Because he also dabbles in parliament, in the parliament procedure to get rid, because there's obviously no trust with the legislation. He wants to identify, get rid of the strong man rule, or what is called the president. In this case, ang presidente, absolute control. You agree with the parliamentary on that, or you still believe in that analogy that you put on? Or is it because the people manning Congress right now are the thieves that we want to stay away from?
Well, they will always man Congress. But the problem, and this is the fundamental argument I made in opposing the shift in the CONCOM, no? Is that in essence in this country the ruling elite, the political and economic class,
they will stay elite.
They control.
Yeah, they control.
Now, in a parliamentary system, you basically remove the check between the legislature and the president, the executive. No? That means the legislator is also the executive.
Correct.
Okay? That means whatever they want to do, they can budget, they can approve the budget for it and allocate
themselves
funds for it. No? Now, given the way Congress has, our legislators in Congress have robbed the country blind, no? DAP, PDA. No? You give them this kind of power, it's going to cause...
Hang on, DAP is executive.
No, but now you're going to merge them. I mean, given... And the president has always used his
veto power, independence.
His prerogatives over funds to control the Congress. No? In fact, de facto, the president and the legislator are already in cahoots.
Now,
okay?
yes.
Now, but if you shift to a parliamentary, you're officially
so you don't
condoning that unholy alliance, no? Because you're saying, okay, let's decide to give ourselves whatever, and they can approve it. They will be the heads of the ministries. Okay?
Correct. Ganun nga mangyayari.
So they will execute. They will approve. They will execute. Where's the check? No? And then you couple that with a justice system which is basically ineffective.
Weak.
And basically non-existent. No?
Right now.
So they can run amok with the funds of the country.
which is close to what they're already doing.
Yeah.
So, priority ng bagong presidente, the new Duterte comes in, hindi ito mga issues that should be tackled as a priority, you don't think? I mean, it's too complex. Federalism may be a little too complex, too way ahead of its time. And shifting
And
from
it's not
presidential...
something you will be able to do easily. I mean, you need to change the Constitution. Okay?
And changing that Constitution, opening that up, will only promote the interests of those that will change it. They will insert what they think is best to keep themselves and their family in power for the next 300 years. Parang ganon. So, you don't see this as priority issues?
No, if you were to ask me what the new president should do, given his popularity,
Yes.
I think he should attack first the justice system. It's a smaller system.
Baliktad, ano? Imagine, lahat na sinasabi niya, sige, okay, I agree with you, but please, expound.
The justice system is a smaller system. It's more easy to correct, so to speak. And basically...
Meaning not totally lost as of today.
Yeah. Meaning, basically, you need more courts, you need better people in these courts.
More authority,
you need better procedures so that people are not waiting 10 years for a case
more
to be
of a
resolved.
budget. They're getting, what, 18, 19 billion? And they make their
but
own
they're
money.
only getting, I think, 1% of the total budget.
Which is about 17, 18, if I'm not mistaken.
Give them more money. You improve the law enforcement. Again, you have basically an ineffective police force.
Well, yun, sinabi na ni Duterte, gusto niya nga ay triple pay, di ba? Ang police.
But not just pay, you have to upgrade their capabilities.
Education. Pero college education ng mga yan, mga police. Hindi naman pwede makapasok ka pag hindi ka kolehiyo ngayon. Sa military, oo. But police, alam ko, college.
But they cannot solve any crimes. So there's something wrong there. I mean, clearly there's something wrong there. So I would attack this problem first. Basically because it's an independent...
you strengthen the balance of power by first initiating reform in
because
the
it's an
judiciary.
independent constitutional body. And basically, it is your weapon against these corrupt officials. Because if you had a working justice system...
You're right.
Abalos would have gone to jail.
Acquitted.
I mean, all of these people would at least may kaba sila, na if they will do any hanky-panky, may kulong,
May kulong.
As it is, walang nakukulong eh. For a while, Estrada, but he's the only one,
Pero pinalabas pa eh.
So, ibig sabihin, I think the first thing you should do is to create something to balance, or as in the words of Jun Losada in the end, moderate their greed.
Moderate.
Kasi may huli. Walang huli ngayon eh. Walang huli, walang kulong.
Interestingly enough, that's the strategy Enrique Nieto Peña of Mexico is trying to do, and the Latin American countries, although they're stumbling nonstop and they're being murdered along the way, and the presidents are trying to put them down. You're right. That's probably the best way to try and correct the system, the judiciary. But the Supreme Court by themselves should be strong enough to be able to initiate the reforms. So are we saying that even the Supreme Court is compromised at this point? Parang ganun eh. Kasi sila dapat yung nagpapatapang sa judiciary. And parang, if the judiciary is weak, which it is, it's not contestable. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's the fault of the Supreme Court justices. Kasi it emanates from the top, di ba? Even the procedure, the functions, meron naman silang leeway. They have their own reform agendas, and they have a certain independence. So, maybe ang problema natin are the 15 Supreme Court justices. Baka kailangan tanggalin na lang, wipe them all out, get new people. But do we have 15 good people in this country?
No, I think I think you also have to increase the budget for the judiciary. No?
Well, wait, hang on. These judges they drive around in luxury cars, living in top villages, and they travel nonstop. I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
Well, compared to what these congressmen have in their pork barrel, and it's nothing. No? But basically, you have judges which are not well paid. Okay, so
You're talking probably the municipal trial court.
They're easy to corrupt. Okay, so basically, you have to upgrade. You have to upgrade the compensation. You have to upgrade the skills, no? And you have to upgrade their morale. No? Right now, they know they are looked down upon.
Prosecutor.
So, prosecutor, police,
Sila ang pinakamababa tingnan,
Yeah.
perception.
Yeah, you have to
But
raise.
they created that.
Yeah, that's why you have to make major changes, revolutionary changes in this.
So maybe tama sinasabi
but you
ni
attack this
Duterte.
first.
Mag-revolutionary government na lang tayo para 100% turnaround and correct and reform.
Well, the problem with that is when you have a revolutionary government, you're giving power
Absolute power.
to the police. Basically, it's the police.
Police state na naman.
Now, do you trust this policeman?
The answer is no. Obviously not.
If you get picked up in the middle of the night,
Wala kang rights. Wala kang freedom.
now, basically, you're giving power to people you don't trust to begin with. No? You fix the system first, and
So in other words, hinay-hinay lang. Don't jump into it. It's not all that easy.
well, for example, I would create new units within the police, no? Recruited from the outside, no? Para
Private sector.
whatever, no?
There's no other sector. Hindi naman tayo pwedeng magpasok ng mga Inglaterra dito, Amerikano, to run our systems. It's
No,
outsourced.
it can also be government people, no? Not just private.
But government is weak. Show me a government institution that even cleans its. Just today in one of the blogs, I couldn't believe it. Yung mga bago mga kotse, mga Toyota and watan, binulok na lang. I mean, government, come on, all the agencies are totally mismanaged, so it seems.
Well, that is I think that follows or that flows from the top. No? If the secretary is corrupt,
Sunod na pababa.
the underling says,
Loko ito eh.
di ako na rin. Diba?
Actually, it's one agency I'm very impressed with. It's the BIR to date. Para sa akin, Kim Henares, she's part of the LP and the Noy Noy group. But ako, hats off ako sa BIR. It's been harder to hide money from the BIR. It's good that we're paying more taxes. Rene, we're at the end of the program.
Yeah.
What would be your quick message to the President? Incoming, Duterte, of course.
Well, I think he should give, what I said, I think he should give priority to the justice system, law enforcement and justice. No? That doesn't mean that that's all he will do. Okay? There are many things that need to be fixed in this country, but I think fixing the law enforcement and justice system will go a long way towards improving all the rest. Basically, you have to make people believe that if they commit a crime, they will be caught. If they steal from Congress, you will go to jail.
Sabagay, that would be a good start. That would begin.
You have to change the incentive system. Right now, the incentive system is, I'll steal because I won't get caught anyway. There's no risk. There's no consequence. No? So
Why not?
So this is the first thing you must correct, the perception that you can get away with it.
I agree. Well, ladies and gentlemen, ayun, narinig nyo na po. Alam mo, ang problema kasi ng presidente na popular gaya ni President Duterte, ang incoming president, talaga ang bigat na sa balikat niya. Because we all want change, we all want reform. And from what we read, it seems he's going to want to. Now, the problem is, it's always the same. This happened with Noy Noy 6 years ago. We thought we were going to have reform. Instead, we had trains that stopped, an airport that's filthy, and the Liberal Party being excluded and given absolute power to do what they wish, which is bring the country down. So I'll go back to it. Maybe ang pinakamalaking problema ang Pilipino ay kailangan maging body politic. Ang ibig sabihin po niyan ay kailangan makialam. Dapat change, as they say, has to come from within, from you, but also at the same time, you have to learn magreklamo ka. And then panindigan mo, magkaroon ka magka-advocacy if necessary, and stand up for your rights. And stand up to what you see is wrong. Huwag kayo magpapaloko sa media o kasino man. Alam niyo dapat, alamin niyo dapat kung ano ang tama. Kung hindi, binababoy lang natin ang mundo para sa mga anak natin. I mean, it's bad enough we have already failed the country today. It gets worse when we can't even keep a country together for our children and grandchildren. So, I end the show pointing the finger back to you. What do you think? Maraming salamat po. Thanks, Rene.
You are what you watch.